Why can't a champion in another sanctioning body become a mandatory to another champion? It's happened before. So why can't that be standard? Let's talk.
Straighter, not a roundhouse right hand.
And that's what we've been talking about. The straight shot is the one where he gets leverage on it.
I don't want to kill
Pull
somebody
back
for
a little bit.
seconds.
Nah, I want a body on my record.
Now, I want to see you fight motherfuckers. I do. All right? I'm with you. I'm with you. As long as you're trying to fight the great, the best competition.
Welcome to the graveyard. Click the link if you dare to. Bury you alive, I'm prepared to. Welcome to the graveyard. You get your sources from clowns, so when you come around, we don't hear you. Welcome to the graveyard. Click the link if you dare to. Bury you alive, I'm prepared to. Welcome to the graveyard. You get your sources from clowns, so when you come around, we don't hear you. Yo, it's the best, fight the best. If you ain't with the moto, just click the link, bitch, and get buried like the rest. It ain't gonna work how you want it. These trolls already tried, too many come but don't leave. So if you hear, you gotta die. I'm spitting straight facts. These bitches crying cause they hate that. The LDBC's the top topic, bitch, hate that. We the ones that bring the truth to these fans. So while you hate, I'ma laugh and keep counting these bands. Welcome to the graveyard. Click the link, get the hands. Bury you alive, I'm prepared to. Welcome to the graveyard. You get your sources from clowns, so when you come around, we don't hear you. Welcome to the graveyard. Click the link if you dare to. Bury you alive, I'm prepared to. Welcome to the graveyard. You get your sources from clowns, so when you come around, we don't hear you.
Welcome to the graveyard.
You normally don't see another champion becoming the mandatory for another champion. And there's rules and unwritten rules on it not happening. However, the rules and unwritten rules don't mean jack, because Golovkin was the mandatory to Canelo Alvarez. Facts. And Golovkin had the IBF and WBA strap, and he was the mandatory to the WBC champion. That happened. They allowed Lomachenko to fight the WBA and WBO 135-pound champion. They allowed him to fight for the WBC title. There is plenty of circumstances of these things happening. Plenty. But they don't make it common sense. They don't make it a common thing. Why is that? What better way for a champion that's claiming they want to fight another champion? What better way for them than to become the mandatory? What better way? What better way to resolve all the issues, all the bullshit, all the nonsense when it comes to money splits and everything else? If a champion is seeking to become the mandatory to another champion, what better way than to make it happen? And why wouldn't they? What would be the reason for not making a champion a mandatory? Now, I understand with Terrence Bud Crawford is probably the most highest profile name right now that was trying to be a mandatory, but people forget that Golovkin did it to Canelo. Yeah, people forget that. People forget that Golovkin was the the IBF and WBA champion. Golovkin was the mandatory to the WBC champion. People forget, they just leave that completely out as if it never happened. It did happen. So why can't that be a common practice? Why can't that be a determining factor of your super champion? If you want to be a super champion, right? Which y'all already saw the morning grind that BF did already. And the morning grind I did said the super belts would make sense if you're trying to become undisputed. They would make sense. So why wouldn't making a champion a mandatory? That you got to understand. If you're making a champion a mandatory, then your champion is saying that I will take less. They are proving to the world that they want to become undisputed. They are proving to the world. It's not just talk. It's not just tweets, lip service. Oh man, I ain't worried about this, or I ain't worried about that, or I'm this and I'm that, or I'm my accolades this, or I was this before, all that. No. You are proving to the world that that it's not about the money. You're proving to the world that you want to be undisputed. So if you're willing to become a mandatory to a champion as a champion, you're willing to become mandatory as a champion, then you should be the super champion, right? You should not be hindered with mandatories that are holding you up from fighting to become undisputed. That's where the super belt should come into play in every sanctioning body. If the champion is just talking, oh man, I want to do this and I want to do that, but you're not willing to risk something, by becoming the mandatory. You're not willing to do that. Well, if you're not willing to do that, then you shouldn't be a super champion. You should just be a champion. If you're not willing to become a mandatory to a champion in order to become undisputed, then what will be the purpose of taking away your mandatories? Because then I can say, oh man, look, I want to be undisputed, but I don't never do it. I want to be undisputed, but then I'm fighting green beans. I want to be undisputed, and I'm fighting Amir Khan. None of these guys get a belt, but all I'm doing is saying, oh man, I want to be undisputed. I want to be undisputed. I want all the belts. Everybody knows what I want, all the belts. I want to do this. We belt collecting and all this other whack ass shit. But I'm fighting against guys that don't have belts. In any sanctioning body, in any weight class. There should be no super champion unless you're willing to become the mandatory to a champion as a champion. That's a super feat. Hence, super champion. Because you're saying, I know as the mandatory in the WBC, I'm getting 35%. I know as the mandatory in the WBO, if I don't sell as much as the champion, then I'm getting 30%. But if I sell more than the champion, if I'm a bigger draw than champion, then my split's going to be bigger than theirs. Ask Shakur Stevenson. So if I'm Errol Spence, if I beat your Dennis Ugas, I'm petitioning to become the WBO mandatory. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. If I am Errol Spence Jr., if I'm able to beat your Dennis Ugas, if I beat Ugas, I am petitioning to become the WBO mandatory. Fuck all that. Don't worry about your motherfucking accolades and all that whack ass shit these niggas is talking about. No, sir. Golovkin did it. Lomachenko did it. If I'm Errol Spence, I'm petitioning to become the WBO mandatory as soon as I beat your Dennis Ugas. Yes, I am. If I'm Ugas and I beat Errol Spence, I'm petitioning to become the WBO mandatory. Because then Terrence Crawford can't say, oh, listen, man, your accolades don't mean shit. Your purse, how much money you make, how much you bring to the table, that's what means something. Yes, that's what means something. Your Dennis Ugas' purses are nowhere near Terrence Crawford's. Nowhere near. But one fight against Errol Spence will make that a 50-50 split. One fight. This man got losses. One fight will make that a 50-50 split against Terrence Crawford. One fight. It might even make it 60-40 for Ugas in one fight. Based on how the WBO is doing their splits nowadays and all this whack ass shit where they shouldn't even have no say in how much money a fighter makes. All they should be doing is fucking mandating the fight and that's it. But no, they're getting involved. Well, you made this much and you made this much, so we're going to make this purse split that. Okay. Where Errol Spence made way more than Terrence Crawford. His numbers are way bigger than Terrence Crawford's. So if Errol Spence is to beat your Dennis Ugas and has 3 belts, petition the WBO and make yourself mandatory. Petition them to be the mandatory. Let's see if it works out. Let's see if they allow him to do what they let Golovkin do. What they did Kovalev. What they did for fucking Lomachenko. Let's see if it works the same. That's if I'm Errol, I'm doing it. I know he ain't gonna do it. I know Errol Spence is, he's gonna try to work something out with this man because Terrence Crawford ain't gonna be wanting to do that, and the WBO is not gonna do that either. They're not gonna allow Errol Spence to do it. But then again, why wouldn't they? Dare I say because he's black? I'm just saying. Because Lomachenko was white and he did it. Sergey Kovalev was white and he did it. Just saying. Just saying. Just throwing it out there, man. I'm just throwing it out there. These guys actually did it. They were actually mandatories. Golovkin was white and he actually did it. 3 white people were made mandatory or fought for vacant belts as champions. 3 of them. Name the black guy that's ever did that. Good luck. Good luck. But Errol Spence, you can try, bro. You can try. But there should be no reason on why a champion can't become a mandatory to another champion. There should be no reason whatsoever. None. No reason at all. If you're willing to take a 35 split, a 35%, either 35, 25, or if you're willing to do that just for the sake of getting a belt, then why would they stop you? Why would they stop you, bro? And understand this. Peep this. Let's say the IBF or the WBC makes Terrence Crawford the mandatory to Errol Spence. Then that would mean Errol Spence has 1 year from the day that they order it to fight Terrence Crawford. Or else it goes to purse bid. It goes to purse bid. Right? And if it goes to a purse bid, the champion gets the bigger split. That's how it works. The champion gets a bigger split. So that means Terrence Crawford has a full year to negotiate a fight with Errol Spence. Or else Errol Spence can just say, I'm not negotiating nothing. It's 60-40 or no fight. Don't matter to me. You're my mandatory. So you can duck me. You're my mandatory. If you want to duck me, duck me. You're my mandatory. Your split is this. That's your split. As my WBC mandatory, your split is 35%. I'm giving you 40. As my IBF mandatory, your split is 30% or 25%, some shit like that. I'm giving you 40. So you'll either take the bigger splits that I'm giving you or duck me. But if the WBC or IBF allows that, right? That's a full year for them to negotiate. That's a full year for people to say, bro, you're the mandatory. Why are we talking about splits? Let it go to purse split then. Let it go to purse bid. Let it go to purse bid. Whoever wins the purse bid, doesn't matter who it is, whoever wins the purse bid, there's you set the numbers. $50 million, there you go. 60-40 split for Errol Spence, $50 million fight, there you go. $60 million fight, $100 million fight, there's your splits. There should be no reason why it shouldn't happen. No reason. A champion should be allowed to become the mandatory to another champion for the purpose of becoming undisputed. And the sanctioning body should not stop it. Think about it like this. If the sanctioning bodies allowed that, which they've allowed before, if they allow it again when it comes to black people, like they did when it came to white people, if they allowed it now for black people, that's more money. And the winner of that Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford fight is probably the cash king or second to Canelo. I'm just saying, bro. They're probably the cash king or second to Canelo. Either on par or second. However you want to slice it. That's more sanctioning fees that you're making. All 4 bodies. All 4 sanctioning bodies are making a bigger purse. All 4. Because that money, the higher the clout of the fighter, the bigger the checks the fighter brings in. The bigger the checks the fighter brings in, the bigger the sanctioning fees are for the sanctioning body. So it makes no sense to have your fucking fighter like George Kambosos as your fucking... It makes no sense. Now, I understand if he fights and wins those belts. That's a different story. Do your thing. That's the way it should be. But if a champion is trying to become the mandatory to another champion, it makes no sense to say no. Devin Haney is a champion. He is trying to become the mandatory to George Kambosos. There should be nothing in the way of that happening. Oh, by the way, whole other video. George Kambosos is the franchise champion. As the franchise champion, he can mandate Devin Haney today. Let that sink in. Whole other video. But the bottom line is champions should be allowed to fight in another sanctioning body. If I, as a champion, right, have a guy who's ranked number 1 in your sanctioning body and number 3 in mine, and I beat the guy that's number 1, I'm number 3 over here, and he's number 1, then I should be number 1 over there. I should be number 1. I should naturally become the number 1 contender to the champion. Naturally. Because me being a champion in the WBC has nothing to do with them a champion in WBO. Me being a champion in the IBF has nothing to do with the WBA. Nothing. They're their own entities. Their own entities. They can recognize me as a champion all they want. But there's no reason that if I beat someone that's ranked in their sanctioning body, that I shouldn't be ranked in their sanctioning body either. There's no reason I shouldn't be. Why wouldn't I be? Why not? I don't understand the problem on why I wouldn't be. That cleans up everything. It cleans up the multiple belts and all over the place. It cleans it up because if I'm a champion in the IBF and the number 1 guy or number 3 guy, because number 1, number 2 is vacant, but the number 3 guy is number 1 in the WBA, if I beat him, I should be number 1 in WBA. I should be the IBF champion and number 1 in WBA. And as the IBF champion and number 1 in WBA, if I beat the number 1 guy in the WBO, then I should be number 1 in WBO. You want to mandate me to fight in a final eliminator? Okay, cool. Mandate me. Mandate me as the IBF champion to fight in a final eliminator to fight for the WBO strap. Mandate it. What's the problem? What, am I pull out? Okay, if I pull out, then that tells you I never wanted to fight in the first place. But if I really want to become the undisputed champion, and I'm fighting fighters that are ranked in yours and mine, my sanctioning body and yours, and I'm beating them, then why wouldn't you mandate that? Okay, IBF champion Errol Spence, you need to fight the number 1 ranked champion, number 1 ranked guy, Verge Ortiz. You beat the number 1 ranked guy, Verge Ortiz, you're now the mandatory for the WBO. So not only did you clear up your number 1 in the WBC, but now you're the mandatory in the WBO. Terrence Bud Crawford, you want to fight Errol Spence so bad? Then you beat Jerron Boots Ennis in a final eliminator. You're now the mandatory, the WBO champion and the mandatory for the IBF. What's the problem? That clears up everything. It fixes everything. It fixes everything. But they won't do that because it's too much like right and it's not enough white. BFTB. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. And I'm out.